Vamos.
Good evening, and welcome to the New Mexico Philharmonic's Wednesday Night Live. And my guest tonight is one of the most prominent tenors in all of Latin America, Fernando Portari. We're going to start our show by listening to a performance Fernando did with me just a year and a half ago of the last movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. So watch Fernando singing with me, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, directly from São Paulo, Brazil.
Durch des Himmels rechten Land laufe, Brüder Mann laufe, Brüder Mann, bleib ich wie ein Held von Ihnen, wie ein Held zu Ihnen, laufe, Brüder Mann.
I'm just looking forward that we can make music again together.
Yes, and that's going to happen very soon. Fernando, you're speaking from Rio de Janeiro, which is your hometown. You were born in Rio de Janeiro.
Yes, I was born in Rio. I studied here music and piano. And then after some studies in judgment, I turned the way to the music. And then I went to Germany. I studied in the Hochschule von Karlsruhe with a wonderful tenor, a Brazilian tenor, Aldo Baldin. And then after that, I started my career.
Well, Fernando Portari, for those that don't know, is one of the most prominent tenors in all of Latin America. He has sang all over the world, including at La Scala in Milan, in Italy, La Fenice in Venice, in Bologna, many theaters in Italy, also in Germany, some of the most prominent opera houses in Berlin, the Deutsche Oper, the Staatsoper Berlin, where Fernando had the chance to sing under Daniel Barenboim with none other than Anna Netrebko. So he's been around in the most famous opera houses throughout the world. And of course, in Brazil, in North America, in the United States, and Canada, where he has also sung with me even. And Fernando, it's a pleasure to be with you tonight because we haven't yet had a tenor in our show, and we've been going for several months, and you're the first tenor. So we're very glad that you're joining us tonight.
It's my pleasure to be with you and to send my greetings of the people of New Mexico. Hope to be there someday, who knows.
We would love to have you come to New Mexico. We are in the city of Albuquerque, which is one of the best cities in the world. I was flabbergasted because it's so beautiful. You know, you have the great nature, great weather, but then the people are the best thing about Albuquerque. You know, the people are just, you know, very educated. People are very polite, very welcoming, and we have truly the best audience in all of North America. So we will be happy to have you sing with the New Mexico Philharmonic, which is a wonderful orchestra. And I am sure you're going to have a great time.
Fantastic. Looking forward.
So we just played a short excerpt from our last Beethoven 9 in São Paulo, which happened before the pandemic.
Yep.
And, you know, for those that don't know, I have known Fernando Portari for almost 30 years, and we have performed together for at least 26 years. And Beethoven Ninth alone, we have done maybe 30, 40 times. My very first Beethoven Ninth, you were the soloist.
I remember. Yes, I remember.
And we always have such a great time, you know, together.
Sure.
Besides being a great musician, it's just wonderful to be on stage with someone that you know and you trust. So, Fernando, I mean, we are exactly the same age. You're just 1 month older than myself. We're both 53, even though we look 10 years younger, right?
20 years younger.
But it's been so much fun to perform with you. And I want right away to show another video. This is from the festival that we used to go every year, every summer in Brazil. And we used to produce at least one opera. So now we have a video of a duet from Donizetti's Rita, which is not one of the most famous operas from Donizetti. Tell us a little bit about this duet. What's happening there? Because it's quite funny. This is an opera buffa. It's a comic opera, and it's quite funny what's happening there. Tell us a little bit about that, what we're about to see.
Donizetti was one of the most intelligent and perfect composers for dramas and also for comedies. The most known opera, the comedy that he wrote was Don Pasquale, but Rita also is a wonderful little piece. It's a duo with just 3 singers, and well, there is 2 guys. One guy who lost the wife. He sent the wife. He tried to went away and disappear, and the wife married another guy, married the tenor, and the tenor, he suffered in the hands of Rita. Rita was a very tough girl, but then the first guy, he came again, and then the tenor, Beppe, the tenor, the name is Beppe. Beppe, when he knew that the guy that came was the first man of the girl, he was very happy, because then he could leave the girl and finally he could be free without his wife in his life. It's a very Italian humor, and is a marvelous piece of how wonderful the opera can be. Donizetti is a genius, and that we will try to see how it comes to us now with this video. Let's see.
Let's watch then the duet from Donizetti's Rita. Fernando Portari, the tenor, and Rosanna Lamonza is the soprano in this recording. Let's watch it.
Che fra me mi preoccupava, dunque io ho fatto per gofferia. Che vuoi tu dire? La colpa è mia, non mi sgridar per carità. Ma vuoi finire? La quartana, la tazza verde di porcellana, mi scappò, battatrac, e in 100 pezzi andò. La tazza è storiata, e un guaio anch'io lo so. Silenzio, n'hai infilzato. Ita! Perché mi scappò? La cartana! Perché mi scappò? Ita! Cosa c'è tra la barbilla? Zucco, 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 zucco. coppato più tardi da me, ma in codo picchiato con qualche perché, stretto e granodo non posso disfar, mi tocco, mi rodo e nulla so far, ma rite di porto passate per qua, è il caso che il mondo mi vede, mi fa, mi fa, mi fa, facemo se non, caso che il mondo mi vede, mi fa, ma stretto e granodo non posso disfar, mi rodo e nulla so far. Non hai una ma mille ragioni, è un bel bacino sulla guancia dorata.
Soldi questi per te, non ho fornata.
Ma vesi la balia sforzato il bambino, ma il fascio buttato nel fiume vince, il fosse accoppato più tardi da me, ma in caso picchiato con qualche perché, ma stretto granodo non posso disfare, mi toso, mi rodo e non lo so fare, ma rita di porto passate per qua, nel caso che il mondo mi vede mi fa,
Noioso cetrone,
che modi che gelo,
corbello zoccone,
fammi arrabbiare,
sei scemo sei nulla,
fumo da terra,
non sei più maglione,
sacrificare,
noioso cetrone, corbello zoccone, sei scemo sei nulla, non sei più maglione,
che modi che gelo, ma fammi arrabbiare, da frutto da terra non sai che picchiare,
noioso cetrone,
da frutto da terra non sai che picchiare, da frutto da terra non sai che picchiare, e caso che mondo mi vede, mi fa, mi vede, mi fa, mi vede, mi fa, mi vede, mi fa, e caso che mondo mi vede, mi fa.
That's such a delightful piece, Fernando.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
and you're so great there on stage. You know, often you have to sing opera buffa, you know, the comic opera, and then you have to go to the more dramatic roles. And this is very challenging for you because besides having to sing, you got to be an actor. How do you manage both things of acting on stage and also delivering a perfect musical performance?
It's not easy, but I had wonderful opportunities to study both music and theater. In the beginning, I had this tradition in my family of the singing, and also of the music. My mother was a pianist, and my father was a singer. So me and my brother, we both lived in this very artistic atmosphere. But the theater came a little bit later. And because of the theater, I decided to be an opera singer because I didn't know if I would like just to sing, just to be a singer. I was actually when I was very young, when I had 20 years old, I was a lawyer. I worked in an office, and was very stable, my job there. And then I did.
And you were probably making more money than you make as a singer.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. Much more money. And then suddenly I had this opportunity to make a workshop with a great theater director. And then I was so amazed by how could be beautiful to sing and to act together. I didn't realize till that time. And then I decided at that point, when I was 20 years old, I decided that I would try to be an opera singer. And then I had wonderful opportunities to work with great directors like Graham Vick, the English director, and with in Brazil with Sergio Brito, who was a very important
Yes.
director, And now with Jorge Tacla is a wonderful director. I'm very happy that I have a very good way to develop this talent.
Now we have a video of you singing in Venice, in Italy, at Teatro La Fenice, which is one of the most famous and most important theaters in Italy. This duet. Can you tell us about this video that we're about to watch?
Yes, that's an amazing production by this, signed by this English director, Graham Vick, and was the story about a girl who lives with a man this man is married, and he has this girl as his how can I say, courtesan, or his
mistress.
His mistress. And but she stays she believes that maybe she can really have a love in his life. She's dreaming about that. And then she was it's a beer garden, and it's summertime, and they are all young. And then come me, Ruggero. Ruggero is the typical guy that comes from the countryside, very polite, very naive. And suddenly they had this meeting and they fall in love instantly. That's the magic of the opera, that in 3 bars you become that's the magic.
Anything can happen in 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Yeah? And the mastery of the most talented to make this ambience and these atmospheres is Giacomo Puccini. Puccini is the king of this changing in 2 seconds and blossoms beautiful atmospheres. And that is a typical chorus, a big scene with this marvelous and passionate atmosphere around.
Wonderful. So let's watch this. What is exactly the name of the duet, Fernando?
It's not. It's in this situation. There is not a name for the duet, because the line of the Puccini is coming over. It's not a number. It's inside this big scene. That it's like the scene of the Madame Butterfly, who is a big duet, but it's a big scene.
And this production is a modern production, right?
It's a modern production, but so beautiful constructed. And he's a genius, this Graham Vick. And you see how can if you really understand the atmosphere, the roots of the music and the feelings about that music, sometimes you can do magical things like that you take the time from a story that was passed to end 100 years ago, and then you can come over 100 years and it stays so fresh and so true. That is very magical moment.
Who is the singer who is singing with you in this duet?
Is Fiorenza Cedolins. Is a wonderful and great soprano, an Italian star that she performed all around the world. Marvelous.
Wonderful. Let's watch this beautiful production from La Fenice in Venice. That was just beautiful, Fernando. You know,
Thank
what
you.
a beautiful duet. And that production is marvelous.
Marvelous.
You know, fantastic. I really
Fabulous.
enjoy that. And Fernando, we always raise our glasses, and
Yes.
here is to you, to the beautiful work you have done all these years. Cheers.
Cheers.
And I am so glad that we have been able to do so many operas and symphonic works together. You know, music is really something that we enjoy doing, and I'm always having fun when I'm performing with you.
Very
because you know, I know that your passion and your love for singing and for music. I mean, you left a very successful career as a lawyer, and you completely dedicated yourself to being a musician. And now it's really uncertain times, because we almost regret making this choice, because we're considered now non-essential services, right? Especially now in the pandemic. And tell me about your experience, because you depend on concerts and I depend on concerts, live performances, but it must have been so difficult for you to have all of your concerts canceled in the pandemic. How have you been dealing with this situation?
Well, first we almost become very desperate because we need this money. My wife Carla is also an opera singer, and in the first 2 months we stayed shocked with this situation. That what is really strange is not to allow the people to work. Is something I can understand why, and why they take these decisions or not. But for someone who needs to work, and needs to work not even just to to make money, but to stay at least the emotional sanity too. This I had a feeling that I was abandoned. That I was abandoned, because if the country, if the government could pay my bills, then it could be that I felt okay. The government is trying to keep the things okay, but they don't pay any bill for me.
Yeah, that's the most difficult thing, because you as a soloist, you're independent, so you depend on your concerts engagements.
Yes.
You know, of course, we have, for instance, the people that belong to an opera house, they are in the chorus and they have a monthly salary. So those that are paid by the government, they were able, you know, to keep their salaries, like in the theater in Sao Paulo, in Rio. But for you guys as autonomous, as soloists, independent, this was really a tough, very tough period, and it still is. Yeah. It still is.
Still, and I was with Carla. We began to think about that we need at least to feel better, to sing in the web, you know, in the internet, and then we started to sing a little bit, some Brazilian songs and some popular songs, just to feel a little bit relieved, because it was a very hard time. And then suddenly now I think that these new times, they will not come back again, because many people cannot go. For example, we are here talking, and the people in the States are looking this interview, that's an amazing thing. That's a beautiful thing too, that we can
Right.
talk and we can make music. For example, you are there in New Mexico and you made a beautiful concert that in the past, just these people who were there that could see these marvelous things. Now,
The whole
if you
world.
had the whole world, you can talk to the whole world.
Exactly.
So there is something very interesting in this bad situation.
So for those that don't know, Fernando's wife, Carla Rizzi, is also an opera singer, and they have been doing a tremendous job with their live concerts that have been streamed every week. And they're wonderful because they're very eclectic. They sing, of course, they sing opera repertoire, but they also sing the pop music, Broadway, they sing Brazilian music, and it's been so outstanding. I have had the privilege of watching many of these. And of course, we also had the privilege of performing since September of last year already. We were able to come back to the stage for some concerts that were streamed with the orchestra. But before we get into that, Fernando, let's go to our next video, which is the Villa Lobos. Tell us a little bit about the Villa Lobos video that we are about to see.
Yes, Villa Lobos, everybody knows, is the most important Brazilian composer. When we think about Brazilian music, the sound, the roots of the sound of the Brazilian music, we have to come back and study and listen to the Villa Lobos music. He was not only a genius, an artist, a genius artist. He was like this very the very few guys that make an identity of a country.
Yes.
These are these guys who make this identity, or what is a country. And Villa Lobos was one of these wonderful guys. So he wrote about 100 songs for piano and voice. Nobody knows that. And then I'm searching about. I'm trying to begin an important. I think it's an important thing to do, to make the recordings of the whole work of the piano and voice works by Villa Lobos. And this is one of a very, very touchable song, because speaks about the time that Brazil was a colony. Is the poet of the 18th century. So is a time of in the very back, that when we are Brazilians, when we hear the music, something moves us to very, very, very deep roots, and
deep roots.
Deep roots. and we can hear in this song this very typical Brazilian feeling, that we are very lyrical people. We are poetical. We are
wonderful.
We are the moon guys. The moon. We live in the night. That's, even though we have the beautiful sun and beautiful weather all around Brazil, but our soul is connected to the night.
Yeah, exactly. And Villa Lobos music is always very melancholic, and it has this kind of feeling that we call saudade, the longing you know,
Belonging.
for something that's no longer there. So let's
That
watch
will-
this beautiful
Yes.
video of Fernando Portari interpreting Villa Lobos. Right.
Sognei che a noi c'era festive e tristi a lua, e nós dois na estrada enluarada, fria e nua, nuvens a correr em busca de quimeras, e com as nossas ilusões de fantasias de viver como no céu a cantar uma doce canção que enche de luz o amor e a vida nas lindas Sonhei que a noite era festiva e triste a lua, e nós dois na estrada enluarada, fria e nua, nuvens a correr em busca de quimeras, e com as nossas ilusões de fantasias de viver como no céu a cantar uma doce canção que enche de luz o amor e a vida nas lindas primaveras.
Fernando, that was awesome. And now I want to talk to you about the first concert we had after the pandemic started. So the pandemic started at the end of February. In March in Brazil, this is where we canceled everything. And then finally came September. And I had this opportunity to conduct in a smaller town, Ribeirão Preto, 3 hours away from São Paulo, with a smaller orchestra. This was actually my first orchestra, and this is the orchestra where you first sang with me 26 years ago.
True. True. It's
So
true.
I remember that, you know, they had very little money, and they said, we're celebrating, you know, the 90th anniversary of the Opera House there in Ribeirão Preto. And And originally, I was going to do a concert just with the orchestra. And then I said, no, let's bring opera singers.
You shared your cachet with us. Your wife told me that. Your wife
they did not
told me
have
that. Yes.
They didn't have more money, so but I wanted to do these opera concerts so much that I divided my fee between the 5 of us, and we brought 4 opera singers, and we had this wonderful concert, which was the first opera concert, opera gala after the pandemic, the start of the pandemic. This happened in September 12, 2020. We did several arias from operas, but then we ended with the finale from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. And of course, we could not have a chorus. We were only allowed to have a small orchestra on stage and 4 singers, no audience. The concert was streamed live. So what we did is, because they asked for the Beethoven Ninth, which was a really symbolic piece for the anniversary of the Opera House. And we did an adaptation of the finale from Beethoven without the chorus. We had the soloists singing the choral parts, and this is what we came up with. And I have to say, this was really a wonderful moment for me, because it was my first concert after being home for 7 months without being able to conduct. And I think this was the first concert to you as well, right?
True. In the South America, I think that was the first concert ever. That was this concert. Yes.
The first concert with opera singers and orchestra.
And orchestra.
It was so emotional for all of us, right?
26 years before, we were there in the reopen of the theater. So
exactly.
Yes.
We were celebrating 90 years, but 24 years before. 24. We reopened this theater that was closed for 16 years. And so there was a big deal, because this is the 3rd largest opera house in Brazil. So
true.
Now, to end our talk show tonight, we are going to play you this video from just a few months ago, September 12, 2020, when we did Beethoven's Ninth in a very special way. No chorus, orchestra and 4 soloists. And it turned out to be one of the most special concerts that we had, because it was the very first concert that we had the opportunity to perform after the pandemic. So let's watch this video now with Beethoven's 9 final movements. Fernando, cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Ludwig van Beethoven. This is to, being able to make music even within this crazy situation of this pandemic, and what a joy to be able to do, even a compact version of the Beethoven Night.
True.
But for me, this was very touching, very meaningful to my life. And I'm glad we were able to share this with our wonderful audience in New Mexico. The New Mexico Philharmonic is an orchestra that is looking forward to having you as soloists with us, as soon as possible. And we're looking forward to the time that we can come back. I am so thrilled that we're starting to get positive news about, the vaccine. And today the vaccine is being available in New York City at the pharmacies and the drugstores.
Wow.
So we're being very hopeful that we can very soon come back to some normality, and we're able to have our musicians on stage again and make beautiful music with the incredible audience in Albuquerque. So thank you so much for being with us tonight, Fernando. Thank you so much for sharing your life and your artistry and your music and your passion. And we look forward to performing together very soon.
I'm very glad, very honored to be there, to be with you here now, and hope to all the people, to the American people, that they can be safe and healthy very soon. And as the greatest Meister Beethoven said, alle Menschen werden Brüder. Yes, all the people will be brothers.
Yes, that's it. Just to mention that the video that you just saw from Beethoven Night had Fernando Portari, of course, as the tenor. We had soprano Lina Mendes. Alto was Fernando's wife, Carla Rizzi, singing the mezzo-soprano part, and Vladimir Carvalho on baritone. And that was the Ribeirão Preto Symphony Orchestra at Teatro Pedro II in the city of Ribeirão Preto, here in the state of São Paulo. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week for another great Wednesday Night Live. And don't forget, stay healthy and stay safe. And we'll see you next week. Good night, everyone. Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.